Mahomes back, throws, it is incomplete, picked off by the Lions. Brian Branch with it left side. He's gone, baby! He's going to the house! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Deflected in the air, Branch ran under it, and he took it all the way back.
Welcome to Twentyman in the Huddle podcast. Post-terrific win by the Detroit Lions, 42-17 over the Denver Broncos and PJ Clark, Tim Twentyman. And PJ, it seems very fitting that the intro was a rookie touchdown to the podcast today because there have been lots of rookie touchdowns this year. There were 5 of them against the Denver Broncos. You have to go back to 1974 Chargers, I think was the number.
Congrats to the 1974 Chargers. If you had 1974 Chargers being mentioned on your bingo card, congrats.
Yeah, that was the last time an NFL team has had 5 rookies combined to score, or rookies combined to score 5 touchdowns in a game. And so, look, Sam LaPorta continues to just do what he does. We had him on the podcast a couple weeks ago. One of the most humble guys, just puts his head down, goes to work. And Dan Campbell said after the game that he reminds him of Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's not a bad guy to be.
No, I would love that comp if I'm Sam LaPorta.
And you look at Gibbs, 11 carries, 100 yards, some really tough runs, some explosive runs, had a touchdown. His 12-yard touchdown run was dynamic along the left sideline there. And then he obviously catches the pass. That's been a matchup thing that Dan Campbell talked about all year long. And these rookies just keep producing and keep scoring. And to get the production like this out of these young guys, that has to give you a ton of excitement heading into not only the last 3 games of the season, but in the years to come.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly, again, I mean, we've said it so many times about the 2021 class with Sewell and St. Brown and what James Houston and Aiden Hutchinson were able to bring last year's rookies. But again, I think it is another special rookie class from Brad Holmes and the player development staff here. And, you know, not only tonight, but it's been a full season long thing. You've gotten good play from Jack Campbell the last few weeks. You've gotten touchdowns from Brian Branch all over the place. I mean, it has been another just smash home run out of the park. And tonight, I think, was the biggest evidence of all year of that.
And now you look at Gibbs with 8 touchdowns on the year. LaPorta's got 9. That's the most rookie touchdowns a rookie tight end's ever had. And I think you have to go back to the Saints in 2006, the last time 2 rookies on a team have had at least 8 touchdowns in a year. And so it's just some of these things.
There's 3 games left.
Are pretty crazy and ridiculous to be getting this kind of production for those guys to be these impactful. And they were certainly all of that. In the win Saturday night, which I think just collectively, the Tampa was, I thought, a really good team win, all 3 phases. I thought this one was right there, maybe even a touch better.
I thought this was the best game of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, to put up 42 points on an incredibly hot Denver team coming in here that was on a heater and was forcing turnovers at an incredible rate, a historic rate.
16 points allowed, I think they were coming in.
Clean game, no turnovers. That was obviously harped on all week, and that was clearly a point of emphasis from the Lions. But to put just an absolute beatdown on a team that was red hot coming in here off the loss, a not well played game in Chicago at all offensively last week. I mean, to bounce back and score 42 home, dome, no weather, whatever conditions you want to put on it, that's very impressive to me.
I take a little bit of credit for the offensive production, just because after the third
there were a lot of tweets. I
tweeted out the last 10 possessions of Lions, and it was like, punt, fumble.
It wasn't good.
Downs, interception, and then the 3 punts here. And then right after I tweeted that, it was 5 straight touchdown drives, and it was, 6 of their last 7?
Yep.
So I take a little bit of credit for my timely tweet to turn that around.
And the third quarter was only -3, which I think is the best one of the year. So that's a win just in and of itself.
Well, you talk about the offense. You talk about Jared Goff. I mean, I thought he was just really sharp. I thought Ben Johnson called a terrific game, and both I'm not sure if Dan Campbell mentioned it, but I know Jared did, that there was a point where they were just like in late in the third quarter and into the fourth quarter where Ben was just joking, like, I can call anything on the sheet and it's going to work. Because when you have your offensive line playing as well as they did up front, and then your quarterback going 24 of 34 for 278 with 5 touchdowns, no picks, and 134.6 average, everything seems to work.
Quarterback rating
and touchdowns. First time since 2018 with Stafford that a Lions quarterback has thrown 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns.
A lot of touchdowns, and they were just sharp. They look good. This is the offense that I think, you know, we've seen glimpses of all year, but they were really, minus the first quarter, really at their best.
I mean, first and foremost, you got to give credit to the 5 guys up front. Do not think it was a coincidence that everybody's back and this thing starts humming again. But you mentioned the slow start. It was a little bit, you know, a frustrating start, I would imagine, for a lot of people. It did not look like that Jared was seeing the field like he had in the past, and then second quarter came and that flipped the switch there. I mean, that lit a fire, and I mean,
before you tweet, just wait a second. Just give it a minute.
Never tweet.
Give it a few drives, a few possessions, because if you watch the first quarter tweets and then some of the stuff, I mean, it's night and day. You know, you've got to let a game kind of settle in and develop and make adjustments, and then we start to see it. And the Lions made all the right adjustments.
I think what unlocked it. And again, I mean, I feel like we talk about it every week. Jared Goff is elite on in-breakers. I mean, he just rips it like nobody's business out there when it's in the middle of the field. And they had the play action play. It was the same play that LaPorta made the dive and catch on last week. That it was the same route over the middle of the field, and Jared just came out of his drop off the play action, ripped it for a first down. And I think that was the first possession in the second quarter, and they went down and scored a touchdown. And that was like the key, just a confidence booster. Show everybody that you have the arm, you'll get it there in traffic. LaPorta, obviously unbelievable, like, is going to make that catch 99 times out of 100, and that moved the chains and got everything going. But I mean, this was, I don't know, honestly, in 3 years, I don't know if there was a better Jared Goff game just than this. This was really, really impressive.
Yeah, he was sharp, and it was good to see Amon-Ra St. Brown get back. We talked about it on the podcast this week a little bit. Just, you know, some uncharacteristic numbers, 5 catches combined in 2 games with 70 yards. That to get 7 catches for 112, have the dive and the flip and the end zone and the highlight, and you know,
one's going to be, I feel like that one's going to be played for a long time.
It's going to be played for a long time. It's good to see him get rolling, but look, we'd be remiss if we don't talk about this defense, because they have, they've received a lot of criticism this year. Some of it deserving, some of it I think not. But I thought Saturday they were terrific. When this offense was struggling, when they had to punt on their first 3 possessions, it was the defense that held down the fort. They get the huge turnover late. Ifeatu Melifonwu, I thought, had his best game as a professional. It's good to see him healthy. He played, I think, 7 games his rookie year, 10 games his second year. He's played 13 games this year, and so we're seeing a healthy stretch, and now we're starting to see the length and some of the things that he's got.
I mean, you saw what he was doing in the red zone.
Yeah.
I mean, just 3 straight plays of getting a hand in there, and then, you know, they overturned and then they unoverturned the touchdown, but that was still great coverage there by him. I mean, you're seeing the length. You're seeing the matchup piece that I think was envisioned drafting him a couple of years ago.
And what a great problem to have. You're going to get C.J. Gardner-Johnson back maybe at practice this week. And now you've got Kirby Joseph, and now you've got Ifeatu Melifonwu, who's playing pretty good. You've got 3 safeties who you can kind of match up with, play. Some guys going to maybe have to sit. You could do some dime packages. You can do some different things. Some guys have to be on the sideline, but geez, what a great problem.
I mean,
who do I play that can make plays? And you get 3 of them.
To have the defensive back depth this late in the season. I mean, if you're getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, it's gonna elevate the entire secondary. Obviously, the second cornerback spot was rotated in and out a lot today, and I would probably expect that that'll continue a little bit. But Chauncey's just it's gonna raise the floor for everybody having a guy like him back out there.
I thought Cam Sutton was really good today.
Traveling with Cortland, that was big.
And, you know, we've seen some of the big performances. Cortland has had 5 catches, 71 yards, not all of them even on Cam, sometimes in some zone stuff they did. But I thought he was great. Just the front seven got constant pressure. Just it seemed like Russell,
Josh Paschal, his best game as a pro. I think,
that was
too.
good to see his sack and a tackle for loss, and he got after it. And look, you love big men rumbling down the field. So when Isaiah Buggs snatches that fumble,
we got back-to-back weeks of big men running with the ball. So after Benito's blocked,
that's right,
the extra point last week. So we got to keep that streak up.
Yeah, and so it was just, and look, Riley Patterson, he's been battling with Michael Badgley. Campbell said over the last 5 weeks in practice, Patterson had missed a couple extra points 2 of the last 3 games. And so, they went to Badgley, and then, he's perfect. And they were just
another good thing to have, just the depth at the kicker position. Not something you ever know that you're going to need, but it's nice to have, especially late in the year.
But you play as well as they did on offense, minus the first quarter. They played so good on defense the whole way, and they were perfect on special teams. And then the result is a 42-17 butt whooping over a team that had won 6 of the last 7, was fighting for the AFC. And so when Detroit plays their brand of football, when they don't turn the ball over, when they're dominant up front, can rush for 185 yards, averaging 6.6
is an
absurd
carry. Number.
What have we talked about so much? What is Jared Goff the best at?
Play action.
Play action. So now you can do this kind of stuff. And like what you saw Saturday, to me, is Detroit Lions football at its best. And when they play like that, I don't care who you are, going to Dallas, doing whatever, you can play with anybody. And I think they showed that on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to call it a perfect game. The first quarter, obviously, was definitely not. But, I mean, you're looking – I think that's like a 95th percentile game right there. I mean, it's just really – it was all cylinders from the second quarter on. And the production you got out of the defense and a lot of different looks, I feel like, from the defense today. You're getting a lot of, I mean, safety blitzes. Yeah. If he was in there, Kirby was in there a couple times, couple nickel blitzes. You had Bruce Irvin and Aiden dropping into coverage, just disguising fronts, disguising looks that maybe Russ wasn't prepared for. And Dan said postgame that, they had a good idea of what they were going to do. The Broncos had put a lot on tape that they thought they had a good chance at, and I think AG definitely took advantage of that.
Well, this is what Dan Campbell had to say about that defense after the game.
Yeah, defense did a really good job today. I thought AG called a heck of a game. We had a couple of wrinkles in that we felt like would be good for us, and really they were. The takeaway that we got, that was something we haven't done. It's been a long time since we have, so we were able to get pressure in his face and trap it on the outside, and so we were able to come away with that takeaway. So I just thought we were well prepared, knew what we had a real good feeling of what we were going to get here. We knew who we had to take care of. We couldn't let Sutton get going. We couldn't let him launch them. Handle this run game. And we did. So the defense showed up. I thought we were able to get pressure. The front played really well today. Certainly our back end. It was the ultimate team win.
Let's get back to these rookies too, just a little bit more, because I think you got to throw Campbell in there.
I think everybody wants to talk about the rookies,
and you got to throw Branch in there too for what they're doing on defense. Obviously, not as big in terms of their total numbers with what Gibbs and LaPorta are doing, but we talked to Jared after the game, and he said something to me that I thought, like, here's a guy who's been around, right? He's played on a Super Bowl team. He's been around some really good young players. This is what Jared Goff had to say about Gibbs and LaPorta after the game.
Yeah, I mean, both those guys, I was thinking about it like halfway through how those two guys were such an impact as rookies. They're two of the best rookies I've ever been around. And, like, for what they handle mentally and what they do every Sunday for us, and the way they practice, the way they're pros, everything, they're as good as it gets. And you see the results out here on the game day, but the work they put in, and again, how professional they both are, and it's really impressive. It really is. And obviously Sam's numbers have been pretty big this year, and he deserves it. He's playing really well.
Now 14 games into the season, I don't really consider those guys rookies anymore. I mean, played enough.
Jack even said that on Thursday. Yeah. I think that's totally fair, because
they've played enough. They've had enough impact. They've seen, pretty much everything a defense is going to throw at them through the course of 14 games. And they're just guys now. They are steady guys that every single week are going to produce. Trial by fire.
I mean, it's hard to be a rookie when you've played for Sam LaPorta 14 full games, like almost every snap. Like you get it now. You know the speed you're at. And Gibbs missed a game. Branch missed a few. Jack got worked in slowly, but all those guys are seeing it now.
Yeah,
you know what you're looking at, and I think again, just the way Gibbs. I mean, 11 carries for 100 yards, 9.1. I think after tonight, now he's leading the league in yards per carry for qualified rushers. It's pretty good.
You love the fact that for me at least, too, like the national stage saw it too.
Yep.
Like you were the only game on primetime Saturday night, and everybody got to see your rookie tight end who some people criticized, catch 3 touchdowns and get 9 for the year. The running back, obviously people, criticize you don't take running backs that high. What are you doing? Well, what you're doing is you're getting one of the elite matchup weapons in the NFL at the running back position, and everybody got to see that on national TV too. So you got to see Jahmyr career high. Yes.
I mean,
4 catches for Jahmyr, 47 yards, a couple tough ones there, and it's just
the one on the sideline was, I mean, really an unbelievable catch.
It's another weapon.
Yeah, and
it's another weapon.
Today, I felt like for the first time, he was really just like, I know Dan said it a couple of weeks ago that he was just like one of the guys, part of the pride out there. I felt like tonight was really like, all right, the training wheels are off. He played almost every snap. He barely came out of the game. He got 7 targets. That was just like, okay, here we go. Another weapon. No gadget plays. It was just like, all right, we are going to take, 2 of the first 3 plays of the game were deep shots to Jahmyr. It clearly was like, we are getting him involved and not just an end around or a screen here or there. He's running real routes now and getting the ball in space.
So now you got to 10 wins. Now you've put yourself in a terrific position with Minnesota losing in overtime to Cincinnati earlier on Saturday. There's a bunch of scenarios out there. I tweeted them out a couple of days ago.
Seattle, Rams, and Tampa are the 3.
There's an Atlanta one in there. But
yeah.
really the simple one is if Seattle loses on Monday night, you're in.
Or just win next week.
Or win the division
next week would be really nice.
But it's fun to have something still to watch this weekend, to know that you're in. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to win one of your next 3, win the division, have a home playoff game here. But it would be good to know that you're just in the dance. Gives Lions fans something to watch on Sunday, something to watch on Monday. My notebook from Saturday night, which some of you will probably read Sunday morning. It's a little late. But
if you're watching this at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, I appreciate you.
It'll have some of the scenarios and breaking that down, but really just comes down to next week. Go take care of business next week. Go win the division. Then you start looking to maybe a little bit bigger goals in terms of seeding. Dan Campbell talked after the game that he's looking forward to it. Like, it's going on the road, us against them. It's a chance to knock off the reigning
this is what
division champions.
You're building towards, right? It has to be.
100%. So we will be along for the ride next week. And hopefully it's a very, very fun Christmas Eve with the Lions.
That would be nice.
Winning the first division title in 30 years would be a really good present for everyone around this organization. We will have we'll get you all ready for the matchup this week with another Twentyman in the Huddle on Thursday. And then we'll chat after the Minnesota game and hope we're chatting about a division title and trying to get to the number 1 and number 2 seed in the NFC, and a lot of fun stuff that quite frankly we haven't had a chance to talk about a lot in recent years, and so it's fun.
And it's fun just to wrap it up. It's fun to talk about a 42-17 win, no matter what happens. That's fun. That's a fun thing to do.
That was a butt whooping.